Hello, welcome back for lesson 9.2. Remember in chapter 9, we're working with what is called conic sections. And we kind of talked about a circle and a unit circle in chapters 5, 4, 5, and 6, 5, 6, and 7. And 9.1, we talked about the parabola, which is an open conic section. And now in 9.2, we're going to talk about the ellipse, and then we're going to talk about the hyperbola in 9.3. And remember, these sections are not on the final exam. However, there are an assignment for each of them due in Canvas, as well as I really just want you to be exposed to them and to understand like what the shapes of these graphs look like compared to the symbols and the letters in the equations. Okay, so looking for that and putting those pieces together. So let's go ahead and you can turn in your book if you'd like to page 753 is where the descriptions of the ellipse are when the center is at 0, 0. So when the center is at 0, 0, you can see in the equation that the x and y are just squared. So if the center is off center with a different h and k center, then it's going to be x minus something, or x plus or minus something, or y plus or minus something, and that's on page 756 here. Okay, but if it's at 0, 0, it's just going to be x squared. And notice that it's a plus, so that means they're going to be together. It's going to be an enclosed egg shape. So it's an egg shape, longer left and right on the x-axis. If it looks like this, where the a is bigger than b, okay, so that means the x squared is divided by the bigger number. And then it's elongated vertically on the y-axis when a is the largest number, but it's on the y-axis. The y is being divided by the larger number. So a is always the largest number, but when it's left and right longer, then it's the x squared divided by the a squared. When it's longer vertically, it's the y squared divided by the a squared. Okay. Our center is going to be at 0, 0 for these particular ones. The foci are at negative c and c, and notice where those are inside the circle there, and that is found by taking the square root of a squared minus b squared. So notice these intricacies. The equation has a plus, and the c is found by taking the difference of the squares of a squared minus b squared. It's going to be a little bit different with the hyperbola in 9.3. And then the vertices. So we have a vertex on the elongated end here. And that's always going to be on the elongated end. Okay, so for the when the major axis, which is the longer axis, so in this one it's the x, it's at negative a0 and a0. And then the minor axis is at 0, negative b, and 0b. And then that's just the opposite when it's on the vertical axis is the major. So let's jump into some examples so that we can see what we're talking about. So 7, 8, 9, and 10 are looking at these 4 pictures and choosing which one matches. Okay, so I'm going to do 7 and 9 with you. So 7 down here says x squared over 9 plus y squared. And let's just put that over 1. So this is going to be, because this is a and this is b, so a must be equal to 3 and b must be equal to 1 because it's a squared. So because this one is the bigger one, then it must be this shape here. It's elongated on the x. The x-axis is the major axis. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. And we can see, because a is 3, then our vertices are at a negative 3, 0, and 3, 0. So that will help us choose which one is which. So when we look at the picture, we can see the two that are like that in shape are C and D, but D is off center. It's not at 0, 0. And C has the vertices at -3, 0, and 3, 0. So number 7 must be C. Let me do that with my marker here. And then number 9 is offset. It's not at 0, 0. And you can see that here, what's going on inside the X minus 1 squared and the Y minus 1 squared. So this one, the center is at 1, 1. And again, the x-axis is elongated because A is under the X. So the A is equal to 3 again. And the B is equal to 2. But it shifted because of the center being shifted. Okay, and you'll see that on page 756 where it shifted. So the vertices for this one are at H minus A, comma K, and H plus A, comma K. So vertices are at H minus A, comma K, and H plus A, comma K. So H is 1 minus 3, comma K, which is 1. So we have 1 at -2 and 1. And you can see that by the picture, that does match. There's 1 at -2 and 1. And the other one is at 1 plus 3, comma 1. And so the other one is at 4 and 1. And so that matches picture D, -2 and 1 and 4 and 1. So number 9 is D. So I've assigned 6 and 8 for you for part of your homework. Sorry, 8 and 10 for you. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Let's move on to 11 and 13. I'm giving you the 2 equations, and they're asking you in this whole group here to find the center, vertices, and the foci, and then sketch a quick ellipse. And I'm not asking you to do anything past this group of problems here on number 21. I just want you to be exposed to what the graphs look like versus the equations, okay? So our center, you can tell because it's not subtracting anything within the x squared or the y squared. So our center is at 0, 0. And it's going to be elongated this way because A is under the x squared, the largest one. So this is A is 5 and B is 4. Okay, so the foci are going to be at the vertices. We'll do the foci in a minute. So the vertices, that's what I meant to say, are at the -5, 0 and the 5, 0. So our center is at 0, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. Okay. And then our minor axis is going to be at 0 and -b. So that's going to be +4 and -4. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. So it's going to go through there and come over there, and then down through here and come over here. Okay. And then the foci are centered around C. And remember, C is found by taking the square root of A squared minus B squared. So the square root of 25 minus 16 is the square root of 9, so it's 3. So the foci are at -3, 0, and 3, 0. So here and here. Those are the things that I want you to find. Woo. Okay, number 13, I chose this one on purpose because look at the bigger number in the denominator is underneath the y squared. So it's going to be elongated the other way. It's going to be looking like this picture here. Okay, So this one is A, 5, and this one is B, 4, because it's a square, right? It's a B squared and A squared. Okay. And again, our center is at 0, 0. And you can see that, so let's just do that 0, 0. And our long one is just the other way. So this time it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 this way. And 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. And 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. So this time our vertices are the opposite. They're 0 and -5 and 0 and a +5. And our foci this time is, again, using C, and C is similar because it's 25 minus 16. So the square root of 9 is 3. So that hasn't changed, except for it looks like this. It's 0 and 3 and 0 and a -3. Because it's always on the major axes, the foci. And this really should have been in shorter. Should have been more elongated. I made them skinnier. It looks like going up and down than I did horizontal. So that's a kind of a weird picture on me. It should have been more like this. Okay. Let's look at 17. 17. Oh, and also make sure that they're equal to 1. So if they're not equal to 1, you need to divide by 1 through by 1 through by the number, the constant, to get that equal to 1 on that side. I think all the ones I gave you are already set up like that. So this time we have A, so really this is our A and B. And so this is our A and this is our B on 17. And we want to see here what our center is still at 0, 0. And then we're going to look at our vertices here. And our vertices for number 17 are using A, because that is going to be our major axis. And so I want to show you here, oops, this is our A and this is our B. It looks like, because 9 is smaller than 16, that this should be our A, but we have to look at this as a whole fraction because we have 4/9. It's really 3/2 squared. And then this one is really 4/3 squared. Well, 3/2 is actually bigger than 4/3. And so that's why this is A. A is the 3/2 and B is the 4/3. Okay, so that's why our vertices are at 3/2, 0 and a -3/2, 0. And then our foci are around our C. So C is equal to A squared. So 9/4 minus B squared. So 16/4, 16/9. Oh. So we have to get a common denominator. Oh, I'm going to do 36. So this will be 81/36 minus 464/36. So this is going to be the square root of 17/36, which is equal to the square root of 17/6. And that's what our C is, the square root of 17/6. So our foci are at a negative square root of 17 over 6 comma 0 and the square root of 17 over 6 comma 0. And these are 1, 2, so right there, 1, 2, so right here, and center is right here, and it's a little bit longer this way. Oops, going right here. And our foci are smaller, so they're inside there, which are harder to see. So it's going to be elongated this way. Let's look at another one here, 19. So 19 and 21 are fun because their center is off kilter, kind of like from 0, 0 is going to be off kilter from here. So this is really subtracting a negative 3 and subtracting a negative 1. So K is going to be equal to negative 1 and H is equal to a negative 3. So our center is at H and K, which is a negative 3 and a negative 1. Okay, and then our vertices are 9 and 16. So A is equal to 4 and B is equal to 3. And so it's going to be longer this way, up and down a little bit, and it's all shifted over. So 1, 2, 3, and down 1. Okay, so our vertices, remember, they're shifted over. So if you go back to page 756, it's shifted over as H and then K minus A, and then H and K plus A. So H is a negative 3, is a negative 3, and then it's going to be K, which is a negative 1, minus A, which is 4. So this is going to be at a negative 3, negative 5. So negative 3, and then that's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. And then the other one is at negative 3 and negative 1 plus 4. So negative 3 comma 3. So negative 3 and then 1, 2, 3, up 3. Okay. And then our foci are based on C. And so C is equal to the square root of 16 minus 9, which is going to be the square root of 7. And going back to 756. Oops. 756. Our foci are at, let's just draw those over here so we have more space. The foci are at H minus C comma K, and then H, oh no, we haven't elongated any other direction, sorry. Our foci are at H comma K minus C, and then H comma K plus C. So it's at, because they're always on the major axis, so negative 3, and then K is equal to a negative 1, subtracting the square root of 7, and then a negative 1 plus a square root of 7. So a negative 3, and then it's going to be a little bit above 1, a little bit of just below 0, and then just a little bit above. Yep, 0, and then a little bit below 1. And then this is going to be at plus or minus 3. So okay. And then our minor axes, I want to make sure I draw that correctly too. Our minor axis is going to be at h minus b and k, and then h plus b and k. So h being a -3, subtracting 3 and a -1, so 0, -1, so 0 and a -1, and then a -3 plus 3. Oops. This one is going to be the 0 and a -1. That was a -3 minus 3 is a -6. So a -6, 1, 2, 3, and a -1 right here. Shape like that. It looks like a box. Okay, 21. So 21, it looks like we're shifted again. So our center is at h is 1 this time, and y is a negative, k is a -1. And then it looks like a is a 10 over here and b is 6. So it looks like we're going right 1 and down 1. And it looks like our longer is on the x-axis. So we've got 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be shifted here. Okay. So our vertices are going to be at h plus a, comma k, and h minus a. So going back to your 756, it's going to be h minus a, comma k, and h plus a, comma k. So we have 1 minus 10, comma -1, and 1 plus 10, comma a -1. So we're at a -9, -1, and 9 and a -1. Oh, no, that's 11. 1 plus 10 is 11. And it's spoke. Okay, so 11. So way over here, so 11. And this one is 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we have to find our C. 100 minus 36 is the square root of 64, so that's at 8. And so our foci, and then our min is going to be offset by the 6. So our minor So our foci are going to be at h minus c, so 1 minus 8, comma k, which is a -1. So one's going to be at -7 and -1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right here. And the other one is going to be at h plus c, comma k, so at 9 and a -1. So that's going to be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right here. And then our minor is going to be, so we can get the shape correct, it's going to be at h, which is 1 for both of these, and then offset by k, which is a -1, minus b, which is 6. So 1 and a -7, and 1 in k, which is a -1 plus b. So 1 and a +5. So 1 and a -7 and 1 and +5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right up at there, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to go up there and come down, and then go down and go up. mine's not great. So if you want to put it for a better picture, you can draw that in Desmos and check it out. So, let me know if you have any questions about the assignment.